What the Tech is brought to you by GigaPoints. GigaPoints is a site that helps you find the best credit card. GigaPoints uses data to pinpoint the cards that'll give you the most points based on your actual spend. See how much you could earn at gigapoints.com/Andrew. Molecule. Molecule is reimagining the future of clean air, starting with the air purifier. For 10% off your first air purifier, visit molecule.com. That's MOLEKULE.com and enter the promo code Andrew10 at checkout. Hey everybody, welcome to What the Tech. I'm Andrew Zarian. Of course, I'm joined by the birthday boy himself, Mr. Paul Thurrott. Paul, happy birthday.
Right.
There you go. Now, I muted you on your birthday. Look at that. Now you're back.
Thank you. Again, I guess.
Happy birthday to Paul. I know a lot of people want to wish you a happy birthday. I'm seeing a lot of messages come through in the chats. Any plans for today? Or you're just taking it easy?
I mean, we're supposed to go out to dinner tonight, but it's we're not. I don't need cake. I don't know.
I don't think anybody needs it.
Yeah.
Except for maybe a couple. You know what I would say? Sometimes I need cake. I definitely need cake sometimes. Did you see me lose my mind last night on the internet or no?
I did not. What happened last night?
Oh, look at my Twitter.
Okay.
If you see my Twitter, we did a special Halloween episode of the wrestling podcast that we do. And I have an alter ego named Enchante. And Enchante made a debut on the show. So if you take a look, you'll see how much I lost my mind. I'm halfway to becoming a cam girl at this point, and I'm fine with that. That's the world that we're living in. It's 2020. Everybody's changing their lives. I'm about to create an OnlyFans page and totally go into a whole different genre of online broadcasting. But listen, we're here today. We got a lot of stories to talk about. Paul, you have an Xbox, a new Xbox. I don't know how much you could say about it because you were sent a review. I saw you have a post on Thurrott.com. If you guys are interested, head on over to Thurrott.com. You can see his first impressions video of, and I know that some of the stuff you can't talk about yet, right?
Yeah, I can just, I'll be allowed to do. So I should say I have two of them, right? So I have the Xbox One X and the Xbox. Sorry, Jesus. The Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, and my God, do I wish they had better names.
Do you think they should have done better? I mean, I get that they need to stick with the Xbox, but they never did like the Xbox, like obviously the Xbox and then the Xbox 2 and then the Xbox 3. They never went there.
Yeah.
They did the Xbox, they did the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And then they did the Xbox One.
I know.
Why? Why back to the one?
Well, I don't know, but at least, the one nice thing about the Xbox One is each of the different models had a name. So you could say there's a family of Xbox One consoles that include the original Xbox One plus the Xbox One S and then the Xbox One X. And that is, you could refer to that product lineup, that family, as Xbox One, and it had, a nice name. So this generation there's no name for it, and it makes it kind of hard because it's not the Xbox Series. I don't know no one calls them this, but I guess you could think of them as the Xbox, the fourth generation Xbox.
Yeah, fourth gen.
Maybe.
It's wild. It's fourth gen. We have a lot to talk about today, obviously, but before we continue, I want to talk about our great sponsor. And this is a company that I actually used right before they signed on as an advertiser. I know I say that a lot, but I generally like to go with companies that I've used their product. And we're going to talk about GigaPoints right now. And what they do, they make picking the right credit card easy, and it selects the right credit card for you. So, I don't think people realize how important it is to have the right credit card. You could earn hundreds or even thousands of dollars in rewards every year. And GigaPoint is a site that uses data to match you with the best card for the way that you spend. So you score your cash back, free travel, or whatever it is. You know, my wife is very good at selecting those cards. I'm not. I I use a certain card that's very heavy and white. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there, and the rewards with this thing are terrible. So I actually went to GigaPoint's website and I curated the card for me. So the great thing here is that it's quick and easy. I mean, a couple minutes and you're done. No answering a bunch of questions or doing a lot of research. Simply create an account and you receive your recommendations within minutes. And the algorithm does all the work. They're very serious about protection. GigaPoints never sees any of your login details or credit card numbers or anything like that. They're very safe with this, and they maximize the personal rewards potential. Other credit card sites have a one-stop shop. They're a one-size-fits-all approach to finding the right card for you. GigaPoints only wants to find the card that's best for you. If you want free flights, they can find the best card for you there. If you want cash back, they'll show you that instead. So it's absolutely great because I think a lot of people are not traveling right now, so they're very much interested in kind of shifting over to a card that's a little bit more curated for the times today. And that's what GigaPoints does great. If you go to gigapoints.com/Andrew, you can start earning on your credit cards each year. You can see how much, actually, which is great. To see how much you could earn with your credit cards, head on over to gigapoints.com/Andrew. That's GIGA points.com/Andrew. Definitely check them out. Great company, and I'm very... I used one of these, not this site, but I used something like this years ago, and I got to tell you, it selects the cards that they're going to benefit from, and that's not what GigaPoints does. They select the card for you. Everybody's trying to get an angle. Everybody's trying to get something out of it. These guys are actually doing their work. They've created this unbelievable algorithm that helps you out, and I absolutely love the service. gigapoints.com/Andrew. So, Paul, let's start off by talking about the Xbox, because I want to talk to you also about Apple, possibly. The rumors, once again, I feel like this happens every, 6 or 7 years with Apple, that they're looking to enter the search engine business, which we'll talk about, because that's gonna veer off into many directions. I can feel it, because that's what we tend to do here. But I wanted to get your opinion on what you can talk about so far with the Xbox. These two... It's amazing how large one is compared to the other.
Yeah. I guess the other way to say it is it's amazing how small one of them is.
It's amazing how small one of them is.
Yeah. I mean, this is a sort of a joke, but I mean, I feel like I'm just trying to verify this. I mean, I had like a Dell laptop in the mid 1990s that wasn't much bigger than the small one, It's pretty small and thin. It's nice.
So, what can we go into with this?
I mean, the only thing I'm allowed to talk about is what you can see on the outside,
Okay.
So I could, they allowed reviewers to publish like unboxing type things and general observations about the exterior design, if that makes sense.
So, you know what I was going to ask you? I really thought the pass-through approach would be something that you would see a lot with these devices. And it seems like...
You mean like the HDMI pass-through?
Yeah, the HDMI pass-through. Like, I understand with the smaller devices like a Fire TV, you don't have the size to put 2 HDMI ports on that. But I'm very curious why we haven't seen this trend really continue. Whenever I think about the Xbox, I always think about the fact that they incorporated this with the Xbox One, where they had a pass-through, and a lot of people liked it. Is this something that is it a very small portion of people that want this for it to kind of overlay on top of your interface?
Yeah, and as you said that, I was actually just kind of wondering to myself if they did that for the entire range of Xbox One consoles, but I think they did. I have not tested it since the original Xbox One. So if you think back to, what was that, 2013, 2014, whenever that thing first came out, that was, one of the big selling points. Like, this will be something you put in your living room. It's not just for video games. It's going to do all this entertainment stuff. And unique to Xbox, they were going to let you set up and control your cable TV through it, right? Which is it's kind of an interesting idea. Literally pass the signal through, and you can use the Xbox One guide, which was
Yeah.
I guess still, I haven't seen it in forever, but it was a neat feature. But yeah, nobody, but not nobody literally, but basically nobody used it.
Yeah, I mean they removed it for this generation, obviously. But
Yeah,
I always found it
it's just
fascinating that
HDMI.
we didn't get that, and I
Yeah,
guess it become I guess the reason would be that everybody's so competitive now. Where if you're Amazon and you have the Fire interface, why would you want to overlay it um on top of whatever the current TV interface is, which is competing?
yeah.
I guess that would be it.
There's a when you think about cord cutting and moving from like a cable type thing where you'll have a box in your living room, remote control. You gain things by moving to online services, and then you lose things too, right? And so
Right.
I think one of the things you lose is this notion of a guide that can come up and show you everything that's on live outside of an app. Like just, obviously if you're getting live TV through like YouTube TV or Hulu with live TV or whatever, so there'll be a guide experience inside of that app. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Um, but you lose the ability to kind of go back and forth between two different things, because if all of your stuff is going through a cable box, it's kind of easy to do that. It's kind of nice. But I don't know. This because I think you're testing, right? Aren't you testing the Android TV Chromecast?
Yeah, the Google TV stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Google TV. Sorry, Google TV. Then that product and Apple TV, that app, I should say, the Apple TV console, the Apple TV app, sort of do this too. It's sort of like an interface for your other services too. So I think one of the things it's not quite what I just described because it doesn't really involve live TV, but one of the things that's interesting about that new Chromecast is it will show you these recommendations across. You can kind of scroll through, and this one will be from Netflix, this one will be from Hulu, this one will be from Disney Plus. Depending on what online services you're connected to, and that's getting us to the point. I think it's getting us in the direction of regaining some of that stuff that we lost. Or we're losing as we switch from cable TV to online services, but there's no live TV component to it yet. I think that's the
Yeah.
trick. So we just don't see that.
So you know what? Do you think there's a like right now? Obviously you have an Xbox. I have one. I
Hmm.
don't use it for media consumption ever.
Yeah,
And
right,
that was their
right.
goal with the previous generation. That's where they were, but not. I think a lot of people were upset
Well,
at that. They weren't a fan of it, but I understand
right.
why they did it because everybody was moving over to that side. What percentage of people do you think currently use the Xbox as their all-in-one?
I think it's a small percentage. The types of people that would do it are the types of people who might watch a show like this. So
Yeah,
I think our audience would skew a little higher in that direction. The one thing I've kind of said to people when they talk about this, because you can do it if you want, right? Obviously, the new Xboxes, the existing Xboxes have Netflix apps and Hulu apps and whatever. And the Xbox One series of consoles does have a kind of outdated now, but it's like a media remote control you can use to control the content if that's what you want to do. Like you can do it, but that's like I want to swing through the McDonald's drive-through. So instead of getting in my car, I'm going to drive a battleship or something. It's like such a
yeah,
big, heavy, and honestly, a slow UI type of device to use to do something very simple. Um, I guess I don't know. Like I know it's a problem depending on how you operate, how your TV works, et cetera. Moving between HDMI inputs is kind of tough, but um, I just feel like there are much simpler devices like the Google TV thing or any Roku or any Fire TV stick or an Apple TV, whatever. These are things that consume no energy. Their interfaces are really fast. They have all the apps. You can just everything just works. So yeah, I mean you can if you want. Sony just announced their media experience for the PlayStation 5. They have a new remote. They're going in that direction now, and I guess so. But have you
yeah.
seen like a PlayStation 5? It's like,
I know.
it's this humongous thing. Like, first of all, like assuming you can even find a place for it in your living room. Um, is that the type of thing you want to fire up because you want to watch Netflix? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. But by the way, we talk about the simplification of these devices all the time, and for years, I
Yeah.
went back to one of our like I always go back to see like what we were talking about, a couple years ago, and one of the things that we always said was, it's still it was at that time, it was still very difficult for people to understand input one, input two, how they
Yeah.
have their Fire TV on one and another thing on another one, and it was still confusing. I'm like. And recently I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? Those days are gone. Everybody understands how to connect and what to connect. You know what? Last night I get a call from Jess right before I was getting to work. She goes, the Fire TV's not working. I go, why? He
Yeah.
goes, it's frozen. How do I fix it? I go, well,
Sure.
you gotta unplug it. And
Yep.
she's like, how the hell do I unplug it? It's like, do I unplug
Sure.
it from the TV? No, you got to unplug it from the power. The way that I've snaked the power, she can't reach it. So I'm like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I have the Apple TV connected on that TV. Go to the Apple TV. How do I do that? With the remote, click input.
Right.
No, I only have the Fire TV remote. I don't have the regular TV remote. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is still not done right.
Right. And just so people understand, your wife is intelligent.
Very intelligent.
And my wife is too. And I've had these kind of conversations. My wife didn't touch the lamp in the living room for 2 years because it was connected to Philips Hue, and she thought it would screw it up. We're like tech people,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't need someone like us in the house to make something work. It's kind of we're in this weird area right now. So yeah, I obviously if the apps on your smart TV were great and you could just use one remote and not switch any HDMI inputs and everything just worked, that would be wonderful. But what happens is those apps are actually terrible. Maybe the apps you want aren't on there. We turn to these devices. We have multiple choices. There are pros and cons in each direction, but it goes on and on. And so it's, and now I have every HDMI input on my phone, or my TV has something hanging off of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I run into experiences like I try to use the Google TV thing more and more.
What do you think of it?
We were watching a show on this thing last weekend, probably. And right in the middle of the show, the TV kind of flashes and it goes to a different input. It switched to Roku. We're
great.
Yeah, no idea why. And then now I'm using the Google TV remote first to pause it, and then just to hit buttons to send a signal to the TV that I'm using this thing.
Yeah, because obviously you don't have your TV's remote with you anymore, and there's no
but it wouldn't do it. I had to go find the TV remote to switch to the So these things happen, and it's not a good experience.
I asked a friend of mine. He works at Amazon on that side on the product development side. And I said, hey, why don't you guys add, because look, they have everything on this, right? I don't know if I can.
That's a good remote. I like that remote a lot. Yeah.
Phenomenal remote.
Yep.
I said, you know what? Can you add, could you guys add like an input button or a menu button? And he's like, no. I go, why? He goes, we don't want you changing your input. We want you staying on this. That is done by design.
But that's not why you need it. You need it to get back to it because sometimes it screws up. See, that's
what his answer is? F you. If you're not on our service, F you. See you later. That's what he's saying. I get
that, but that's not why I would use it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use the Amazon remote to switch to Roku. I'm going to use the Amazon remote because I want to use Amazon. And why isn't Amazon working? That's what happens.
Hey, you know who does have an input button? The new Google TV remote.
Does it really?
Yeah, the new Chromecast has a input button.
Oh, I ran into an issue. So this is what happened. So, all right, we're going to go down this rabbit hole. So thank you for bringing this up.
Yeah.
I really want to use the Google TV thing. I really do. I want to switch to it completely. Love it. I like the interface. I feel like it's a refined version of what you get on the Fire TV. I just like it.
Okay.
But I run into these problems. So the thing I just described is one of those problems. The other one is there's something about my TV, like there was nothing, I guess, well, no, there was something on it before, but whatever it was, I took whatever was on that input, took it off, put the Google thing on there. My TV puts up a little, I don't know, like a little banner thing, and it says, hey, we noticed there's a new device on HDMI port, whatever it is. Do you want to set it up? And then you're stupid. You're like, yes. Right? Why would you tell Samsung you wanted to set this thing up?
Yeah.
So I don't know what it wants to do exactly, but I think what it's trying to do is set it up as if it were like a TV signal. So once you realize what it is, you're like, oh, no. And then you just cancel it out and you're like, whatever. But now it keeps prompting you. It's like, hey, remember we were going to set this thing up? Let's set it up. So that thing won't go away. And then I actually, this is how stupid I am. I ordered from Google an Ethernet adapter for this thing. I don't even know if you know this exists. It's like $20. You get it at the Google store.
There's an
And what it does is
Ethernet.
it replaces the USB-C cable and the power brick with a power brick that has an Ethernet port in it. It's
Okay.
actually the same configure. If you do this on Fire TV, they use the same type of deal, whatever. So I bought this thing like a jerk.
Where is
And
it? It's
then,
on. It's under accessories on their website.
yeah, probably. Yeah,
Power
it's
cables.
well
Okay.
hidden, right? It's like
Yeah.
you're not going to see. If you get
Oh
to
my
the,
God. Okay. So that's fascinating. It's in the actual power brick.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. So
Okay.
by the way, if you use Fire TV and you love it, there is a similar accessory for that device that Amazon sells. It's the same thing. It's probably $20. It's exactly the same. So I guess it passes it through the USB, whatever. Okay, fine. Obviously, I want it. It's 6 inches from my router. Obviously, it needs to be wired to it. So I did that like an idiot. So I plugged it in, changed everything, Ethernet cable, brought it back up. I will say, by the way, auto configured, didn't have to do anything. I like that. But then the TV's like, hey, notice you have a new device on it. Do you want to set it up? And I'm like, yeah, of course I will. And I'm like,
Oh
oh my
no.
God, right. What
Oh
am I doing?
no. Yeah.
And so anyway, the point of this terrible story is the remote for Google TV has buttons on it that do things like control the volume on the TV, which I've already configured. It does the power. And the way this should work is if the TV's off and you point the remote toward the TV and you press one of the buttons, any button, not just the power button, but any button, it should come up.
Yep.
And it should go to that HDMI. And it won't do it anymore. And I think it has something to do with me setting it up on the like the Samsung thing. Anyway,
Paul,
long
format
story.
it. That's it. Format everything.
I know.
Start over.
I guess my point is I want to use this thing, but I keep running into these problems with it. And maybe it's my TV. I don't know. Like, I really
what
want
I
to
find
use
amazing though? What I find amazing is that this little box, right? It's tiny. That
Yeah.
I mean, it's the size of
Yeah.
a Chromecast. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Really.
I know, it's
I mean,
nice.
it is a
I love
Chromecast.
it.
It's Chromecast with Google TV. I think it's very good. I think the fact if you have YouTube TV, and this is what this is a selling point for, right? It's YouTube TV.
Yeah.
The biggest complaint from my wife and even my father is that I can't watch anything live. Like, it's not front and center. I got to go to
Right.
the app. Like, my father doesn't understand. Like, he has to go to
Oh,
the
so
app.
maybe this
now
is
he
the
has to
thing I was
scroll.
talking about. So
This
do
is
they bring
probably
live
for him.
TV to the front?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Yes. So if you go to the interface on the Google, it says Google TV on the top. It says search for you.
Yeah.
Live.
Oh, okay.
Your live TV, which is your YouTube TV channels, which I have, and it has
Right.
a little guide on the bottom. It's right there.
So I am going to temporarily use Google TV from November through the end of January.
I'm
Because
really
I got
curious
some
what
kind of-
you're going to think. I am because
Yeah,
you're
so
not.
I
you
got
just
some
went
kind of
over
a
to
deal
buy.
where, like, because like Google TV today is like $65 a month or something.
It's very
I think
expensive.
65,
Yeah,
60,
it's very
65.
expensive.
So I got some kind of a deal because I bought the Chromecast.
Actually, couldn't you
get-
use mine? I have friends and family. They give you up
Oh, do
to
you?
5 friends and family to use.
jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm
I think
sure I'd be
so.
willing to try.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but I'd like to see. Okay, I'm going to test that because I'm sometime in the next 30 days, I'm switching over to it temporarily. Not for this reason, but now I'll check that out because I'm
Now
curious.
there are some issues with it, right?
Okay.
There are certain things that I'm not really crazy about. One thing is that it's very Google centric. So
Yeah, that's okay.
Amazon has a very different approach where even though it has Amazon Prime and Amazon services, it's not as forceful in your face because they let you, it has all the app guide and everything. This is a little bit more Google based. They want you in the ecosystem. They want you to have
Well,
a
I
Nest.
guess so,
They
dude.
want you
But
to have everything.
I honestly, I think the interface is very open to other stuff. I didn't do this too much, but like even back, like if you go back 6 months or something or a year and use the Google Play TV and movies and TV app, whatever it was called. Like, I think even in that app, you could kind of tell it like, I subscribe to Netflix and I subscribe to Hulu and I subscribe to Amazon Prime. And then when you search for something in the app, like it's Halloween, I want to watch a Halloween movie. You'd be like, okay, well, the first Halloween is in your library, so you can just watch that. The second Halloween is available on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it there. And since you have a subscription, it'll be free. Like, that's actually pretty cool. And the Android TV Chromecast thing, whatever it's called, does that as well. And I actually think I think it's it's kind of the best of the lot with regards to that kind of thing. Like, I actually kind of like that.
So, what were you using full time before this? You were still on the Roku, or you switched over to Fire TV?
So we go back and forth. So this past year, I'd say we split time between Roku and a Fire TV. Like, it's a Fire TV Stick 4K, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the I actually like the Fire TV better than the Roku. But again, I won't belabor you with the long story, but I mean, same, like, just like I just described those issues with this other thing. The Fire TV Stick, sometimes, you bring it up, you hit the power button on the remote, the TV doesn't come on.
Yeah.
You hit a button and nothing comes on. And then you're like, okay, what's going on? And then you're like, I don't want to go get the TV remote and make it work. Like, I just want it to work. So the Roku I have is not as quick, and I don't like the interface, but it comes up like every single time. So you kind of just fall into using it because you're like, I just want it to work.
Yeah, I left Roku many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And right now, I guess I have 3 different environments, right? I'm using my Apple TV still. I have an Apple TV 4K on a TV that's not 4K. So I guess that's not the smartest thing.
Yeah, that's all right.
I
have an Apple TV too, but I never use it. Like, I just,
I always feel it's almost like buyer's remorse. Like, especially this is the equivalent that I give, right? This is the comparison. I always compare it to switching browsers, right? Like, I force myself sometimes to switch a browser because I want to see what the other one's doing. Like, right now, I've been forcing myself to use Safari. It's been a very forceful changeover to use Safari.
Yeah.
I like Chrome. I like how it works, but it's a little bloated. Safari's a lot quicker. So I tried to do it. I had a very difficult time. I have not had that with switching over from Google TV to Fire TV or anything else. It was a very easy transition for me because I was tired of all the problems I had with Apple TV. One being that stupid remote.
Well, yeah, and there's a simple example, like the Apple TV remote. Someone out there's an Apple guy,
but it's not. It doesn't work right.
It's terrible. It's a crime against humanity. But look, there's probably a way. I don't want to learn gestures and long presses and blah blah blah. But what I would like to do is this: I want to watch TV, whatever that means. We're watching movies on Netflix or something, right? Then I want to go to bed. How do I turn off the TV with the Apple remote? Like, I just want to turn off the TV. Every other one of these things has a power button on it. So the Roku remote, the Fire TV remote, the Google TV remote, all of them, you power the TV, shuts off.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Now, somewhere out there's someone who's got like, Paul.
Long there is a way hold to do it. And sleep mode. That's how you do it. Yeah.
Turn in a circle, lift up your left leg, make some incantation. I don't want to learn stuff. I want there to be a button for it. Come on.
I gave my father one for Father's Day, and he sent me a scathing text message. And I read this to my wife all the time, but in my father's voice. Yeah. And he wrote, what did he write? Let me see if I could pull it up here. I just sent it to her. Hey, this Apple is bullshit. I want to throw it in garbage. Doesn't work. And then he tried to spell the Mandalorian, but it did not understand his accent. So he goes, Mandela, I want to watch.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, the Mandela effect.
Yep,
what is he? I'm like, oh, the Mandalorian. That's what he's talking about.
That's awesome.
But he was so sick of it, and he has a Roku, which he likes. He likes the Roku.
Do you ever use that kind of thing? Do you ever talk to your TV?
I do with search. So I never did it.
Because it's so ponderous to type anything.
We've mocked talking to the TV. I got to tell you, because I constantly now, all I do is YouTube videos now. I have not watched anything normal. I have my specific shows. I binge watch them, and I just go on YouTube. My wife and I, we just watch ridiculous stuff all day long, all night long. And I'm tired of being like, oh, what is that video? Okay, hold on. AND, so I just say it. Yeah. I just talk to it.
That's the only time I do it. This is the exact right time. Right, exactly.
Only
time. You don't tell it to pause or play or fast forward 30 seconds or.
I asked Alexa what time it was the other day, and my phone was right next to me, and I felt like such a jackass for doing it. So
So the correct response would have said, Andrew, your phone is right next to you, you jackass.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what a smart digital assistant would do.
Amazing. Only if they had a phone. If Amazon had a phone.
Yeah.
Right? What it could have been.
They seem to be doing okay, though, right?
it is interesting how
I mean,
that thing
honestly,
failed and burned.
yeah. Well, what's interesting is they never bothered to try again. You know, instead of learning something from this and moving on, they were like, "Yeah, we're done."
I think you know what it was. It was probably a meeting, and they're like guys, what the f
Yeah,
are you doing? You know those guys at Microsoft that pretty much invented personal computing? They
right.
bailed out of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think we. I
Or
think
why
we
are
need
we
to.
doing this?
Yeah, why? We need to re-strategize here.
Yeah, I'm not saying they would have succeeded, but there were some good ideas there,
Yeah.
and I don't know, whatever. There was no
Well, I
Gen
think
2, so
the thing that made them popular, and still the reason why they sell so many of those Fire tablets, is the thing that really hurt them as far as becoming a major force as far as the tablet market goes. It was too simplified, and it was appealing to a
yeah,
bizarre. It was like
I know,
grandmas and kids. That was
I
the
know.
demo. I mean, it still is.
I always hear from these people. They're like, "I have a 4-year-old Fire tablet. I don't know why you crap on these things all the time. It's perfectly fine for my needs." It's like, what are your needs? You need something to carry a drink on? Like what how how dumb does a tablet have to be to make it okay for you? Like they're terrible tablets. Those tablets are
Yeah.
terrible. And every once in a while, I'll fall for it. You know, Black Friday will come. You'll be able to get one for like
Yeah.
35 cents or something. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll get
Yeah.
the new one.
You could buy
And then I
8 of
get it.
them
And I'm
for
always like, what the hell is
$35.
this thing? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, what is this?
I
I
dread.
don't
I
know.
dread. There was one. Well, more than 1 year. There was like 3 years in a row. Like I think it was like 2014 on,
Yeah,
where every year somebody bought me a Fire TV, a
a
tablet,
Fire tablet.
the Fire
Right.
tablet. And I have. They're just laying around here. My kids won't use it. That's how
Right.
bad they are. I
Well, that's my
and I
point. Yeah.
listen, and I get it. Like if all you're gonna do is read something or just go on, like very simplified use, it's fine. Whatever. It sucks, but it's okay.
Oh, they're
Uh,
terrible.
but every year I used to get one, and I finally told everybody. Like it was always my wife's family because they know I love this stuff, right? I was like, guys, I'm up to my neck in Fire
Yeah.
tablets.
Right.
I'm
I buy
drowning
my
in
own
them.
technology.
I don't know what
You
to
ever do
do with
this?
them anymore.
You ever install the Amazon app on your phone? Have you ever seen this thing?
I did it one time.
I did. So I just did it, and it's now it's a couple of phones old now. So it must have been the phone I was using before the iPhone I did it. This is what it's like to use this app because like everyone else in America, we order stuff from Amazon all the time.
Yeah.
So my wife is like, "Hey, could you order more of that coffee we get?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I go to Amazon on the web like a normal person. I go to my orders and find the last time I ordered it because and then I ordered it again. And then the Amazon app pops up my phone. They're like, "Hey, got your order in, buddy. We're going to send that thing right out." Bing, another notification. All right, it's going out tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, bing, it's going out. Your order's on the way.
Yeah.
Bing, the next day, it's like, your order is out for delivery. Bing, your order is in the neighbor. Like, how much granularity do I need on this? It's coffee.
People love it.
I
People love it.
don't need to, like, I don't need to micromanage this.
Do you track
like
your UPS driver?
So I did
'Cause
this one time. Okay.
They have it now
dude,
here.
I literally just did this for the iPhone. And here's why. I'm not normally like this. I try not to be. I'm the most compulsive person there is on earth. But this must have been last week, right? Yeah, last week, the week before, whenever it was. It doesn't matter. One week, I was on a Tuesday. I was supposed to get a OnePlus phone from FedEx to review, the OnePlus 8T. And then there were two other things coming that day. It was the case and the power supply for the iPhone that was going to come later in the week. So I'm at the gym. My wife texts me. She goes, "Hey, you just got 3 packages from FedEx." I'm like, "Great." So I got home and there was one package, a little Apple box. One package was a little Apple box. And the other package was this big flat thing, but it was all taped up extra, looked like crap. And I'm like, "Oh, that doesn't look good. I don't think there's a phone in there."
Uh-oh.
And I opened it up and it was a stack of stickers or coupons or something. So someone in the FedEx warehouse had cut it open, clearly saw that it was some kind of a phone shaped something, and stuffed something else in it, taped it up. My FedEx driver delivered it. I'm like, oh.
Unbelievable.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I didn't pay for this. And a week later, they sent me a replacement. So I got the replacement the other day. But and that came fine. It was fine. But I spent, like $800, $900, whatever it was on this phone. Now it's coming on Friday. It was Friday. So Friday, but it's UPS. So I got the notification. It's out for delivery. And I clicked on the link. And it's like, there's an option that says you can see it on a map. And I'm like, I'm going to watch this thing on a map. And I watched him on the highway. I watched him get off the highway, go in the wrong direction off the highway. And I'm like, and he drove around a little thing and he comes down. Now he's on my side of the highway. He's getting closer. And the way my neighborhood works is like there's a main road that kind of goes through, and the roads go off of it in either direction, and there's circles. So all the road names have like something circle, something circle. And I did like an I don't know what kind of person does this. I watched it like it was a TV show. I watched him go left,
and it was entertaining. Listen, it's
and I
like
watched him
watching
go right.
flights. It's like
And
watching
I'm
the
like,
flights.
and my Stephanie was out in her, my wife was out in an errand. She texted me and she goes, "Hey, did you think of Rev?" I'm like, I'm watching, I'm watching a video game. And like literally, it went to the well, it's behind me actually. So the 2 streets behind us, it went to the far side. It went to my side. I could see the truck through the neighbor's yard in the next block over. I watched them come up over the hill, and I thought to myself, man, after all this, like, if this guy gets out of the truck and he has like a destroyed package with like stickers in it, I'm probably gonna just kill him on my front lawn. But it was fine. But yeah, I did like a jerk. Like I literally. Who does this?
You know what? Because we're still kids inside, right? It's like when you're getting the present. Imagine if you were a kid and you could find out where the guy is. I remember I used to wait for a package or something, and I used to sit by the window because I know that the UPS guy shows up at 2. So around 1:40, I'm sitting there and I'm just waiting till 4:30. You know what? It's pretty cool. You can see like, oh, okay, the guy's coming. Or if you need to be home for delivery, it's fine. Like I got a big wine order for Thanksgiving that came in. I got like 24 bottles of wine. I had to be home for it, so I was tracking the driver, which is okay. It's fine, but for most cases, not necessary.
I gotta say, I felt a little weird about it.
Yeah,
but
I do want to take a little minute. Hey, before I'm going to give you guys a little teaser. I want to ask you about Sun Valley, Paul.
Okay.
I want to ask you about that because news is coming out about that today. A lot of people are covering it, and I've been asked about 4 times since we started the show. Ask Paul about Sun Valley. So we're going to talk about that. And a couple other things, but before we continue, I want to talk about one of my favorite products, favorite sponsors. I just ordered one for my office, and people are going to say, "You ordered one for your office?" Yes, I did, because it's a great investment. We're talking about Molecule. This is one of the most state-of-the-art air purification systems for your home, standalone unit that exists right now in the market. And they have a great offer for you guys. You get 10% off your first air purifier when you go to molecule.com. Promo code Andrew10 at checkout. That's molecule.com. Promo code is Andrew10 at checkout. So what this does, it changes the traditional air purifier. What they have something called a PICO, PECO. And what PICO does, it breaks down the pollutants to its basic harmless component through Molecule's revolutionary air purification air purifier. So it doesn't just collect the pollutants in the air, which is what a lot of, like a HEPA filter, that's what it does. It doesn't go through, and that's why you got to replace it all the time. This destroys them on a molecular level, which includes viruses, bacteria, chemicals in the air, mold even. During allergy season, this thing is a lifesaver for me. I suffer from severe environmental allergies. Terrible. Like, I'm allergic to everything. And since I put this in, this was the first year, and I was home. Obviously, we all were. First time, my eyes were not on fire every day. If you've watched the show for a long time, you know every spring and every fall, I'm melting as a human being. I'm falling apart because my allergies are so bad. And this thing has really been a major changer for me. Bob in our chat room, he ordered 2 of them. He has one in a small office. He has one in the main room. I ordered one from my office, not here at home, but at my job in Manhattan. I have one in my attic. I have one in my bedroom now that I move around to the living room. I absolutely love this product. It's one of the best air purifiers that I've ever used. And I could that's in wrestling they call that a shoot. It's the truth. I use it all the time. Great product, great people, and you guys can get 10% off. Listen, the holidays are coming, so this is a good time. If you know someone that suffers from allergies, you want someone that could need this. This is a great product. They have different models, too. They got the smaller one. They got the bigger one for larger rooms up to over 400 square feet. I think it's up to 400 square feet. So it's a great product. Go to molecule.com and use the promo code Andrew at 10 at checkout. That's Andrew 10 at checkout. MOLEKULE.com. promo code Andrew10 at checkout. And also everything you can do with your phone. That's the other great part. You could turn it on. You have different modes. So you could do, example, you could do a boost mode, which is super intense if you want to clean up the room. You could set it on auto. You could have it on silent. A lot of features on this thing. Phenomenal product. Molecule.com. Use offer code Andrew10 at checkout. So let's talk about Sun Valley. Microsoft is planning a refreshed UI in 2021. What do we know?
Yeah, so I'd never heard this code name before, but you may recall, I don't know when this was, sometime in the past 6 months, I was talking about a source of mine from Microsoft saying to pay attention because sometime in the next year something big's happening, and there's been no sign of this at all. And I'm like, I haven't literally gone back and bothered this person since then. I've thought about it a lot, but this is very clearly what he was referring to. So according to Zach Bowden at Windows Central, who's a person I really do trust, and he obviously has very good sources, they're finally going to overhaul the Windows 10 UI in time for the second half of 2021. So what will probably be called Windows 10 version 21 H2.
Okay.
And that's great. And so, this is the one, I've sort of made this observation, and I did this sometime in the past month or two. I resuscitated a bunch of old computers with the idea of recycling them if they're too old, or donating them to a local church group if they're, reasonably new. And a couple, 2, 3, 5 of them, whatever it was, were actually run Windows 10. They're actually, new enough to run Windows 10, but of course they're running Windows 10, 1703 or, whatever the version is. They're old. And it kind of made me realize, Windows 10 has not changed that much. Obviously things have happened, but I mean, as far as the general UI, the look and feel of it and everything, I mean, it's the same thing.
Windows as a whole,
yeah,
it's still identifiably Windows, when you look at it.
Right. Which, by the way, I think is important. And I don't know if we ever made, we probably talked about this at one point or another, but I always think about the Mustang, and actually you have a Mustang now. So
I do have a Mustang.
At some point in the late, 70s, early 80s, like I feel like the Mustang lost its connection with the past, and they were just churning out
the hideous fox body Mustang.
Yeah, right. And look, it's kind of hard. Like, how do you trace a car's heritage back to an original when they change it that much? And then in the 1980s, the Ford Probe was originally supposed to be a Mustang.
Yes, it was.
And they decided to call it something different. And that would have been another,
And by the way, do you know why they didn't do the Probe as a Mustang? It's actually one of the first
front-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive, yep. But it was one of the first ever moments that the online community was able to change the mind of a company. Yeah, because you got to remember, it was the late 80s, early 90s. It was replacing the Fox body into the classic 90s Mustang that we all know. And it was on all the forums, on the BBS forums. So think about how back we're going, right? They were so up in arms. And at that point, you got to remember, a lot of these companies had developers and people that worked on the project involved in these communities. Right, they were there, and it was such a up in arms reaction, not because of the design, because the Ford Probe was not a
honestly, the Ford Probe was a pretty car.
It was front-wheel drive.
Yep. And that was why front-wheel drive.
And it was going to be a Japanese engine. It wasn't going to be a Ford motor.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So that all makes sense to me. I mean, I would say in recent years they've done a nice. In fact, I would say Ford has done a better job with the Mustang than I believe Chevy has with the Camaro to make it, like a logical modern version of the the classic Mustang. Like I think they've done a nice job with that. So anyway, Windows is like that, and so meaning starting in Windows 95, there was a start button, there's a taskbar, there's a recycle bin, there's the desktop that you can actually drag stuff to. We've changed the name a few times, but File Explorer, the tray icons and all that kind of stuff. It's all it looks different. We've gone from flat to 3D to glass to flat again, and whatever. But it's it makes it recognizable as that thing that we've always thought of as Windows. Like I think of people who are younger, got a glimpse of Windows 3.1 or even better, like Windows 1.0 or 2.0, they would be like, whoa, what is this thing? Like
Yeah.
this is, because it's nothing like, but now here we are. So how many years, 20, 25 years out from Windows 95, and yeah, Windows.
We're still talking about it. So it looks like the changes are going to be on the File Explorer. The Start menu is going to be different. Tablet mode is going to be more streamlined. I get that's what they're saying. Fluid experience. It's going to be a fluid
Yeah.
experience.
We need more
Whatever
fluid
that means.
What's fluid experience? Like your stomach's a little off and
Yeah,
having
maybe
a
when
fluid experience.
No, you know what it is? Hopefully, when you switch from convertible tablet mode to regular mode, it actually works
Yeah,
properly.
it
Maybe
actually
that's
works,
what we're going to do. Because that's my
Okay.
biggest problem with the HPs and even the Surface, where if
Right.
you do it quick enough, it doesn't engage properly, and for some
Yeah.
reason it just stays in tablet mode, which I
You
hate.
actually,
I
you
want to get
kind
rid
of
of.
do that thing where you like try
Yeah.
to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
it's time.
We'll see what
but
it looks like.
You know what's fascinating? Also, I guess what you're saying is the tiled UI, the Metro UI would have been
Yeah.
their mistake, with this. When you look back at the history of Windows, that's the thing that doesn't fit in.
That's right.
It's
And they reversed it pretty damn quickly.
Did you think
that
they were
was their
going
forward.
to?
That was their forward probe moment.
That was their first. Yeah, they were like, "Oh crap, we screwed this up." But just I
how do
want
we
you guys
fix
to
this?
think about how the experience today for Windows would have been if they didn't reverse this. They didn't go back to a desktop UI.
I mean, it's the UI you're talking about for late next year. Almost certainly, will get rid of the final vestiges of that UI.
Yeah.
Because there's still little chunks of it left in the start menu for some reason. But yeah, I bet that changes. We'll see. The one thing I'll say is we've seen one new take on a modern Windows UI in Windows 10X, and honestly, that doesn't look too good to me. So hopefully, I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen it certainly, but I hope they do something modern and professional. I mean, look what Apple did in Mac OS 10. What's the new version? Mojave? Is that Mojave?
No, Big Sur.
Big Sur. Right. Mojave's probably 3 years old. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Anyway, the new one's beautiful. Same system, right? It's recognizable as a Mac, but it's beautiful.
You know what I don't like? The icons have that what was it? Skeuomorphic was the previous way, right? It's a little skeuomorphic, some of these icons.
In what? In Mac OS 10?
In Mac OS 10. Yeah. The icons are a little bit, they're not flat anymore. There's depth to it now, which I'm like, oh, whatever. You get used to it, just like everything else.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about Apple, by the way, guys, I want to remind everybody, if you enjoy this show, you could head on over to patreon.com/whatthetech and fund us there. We do once a week, we do a show called What the Talk. It's a free-for-all of conversations and topics that Paul and I would have at a bar, pretty much. I mean, that's really how I describe this whole show is a concept that I came up with, just two guys talking about technology at a bar, and that's always been my approach here. But if you want a little bit more in-depth of a conversation, maybe sometimes with tech, maybe we'll talk about the Ford Probe today. Curious about it. I want to talk about that. You could head on over to patreon.com/whatthetech. Fund us as little as $1 per episode, and it goes a very long way. Trust me. Helps us out tremendously here. Let's talk about Apple considering entering in the search engine market again. I feel like this is a conversation we have every 7 to 10 years about this company. They start looking into search, and then they back right off from it.
I don't know if this means you're going to go to, apple.com and it will be like Google and you can type searches. Like, I don't think they intend to take on Google on the web with like a traditional search engine. But this came to light recently with regards to, if you're an Apple user, I'll just bring up my phone because what is this thing called? If you swipe over to the left from the leftmost home screen on an iPhone, or I guess on an iPad, you get this. What is this interface called? Like the Today feed or whatever.
Oh, when you go
and it has
all
those
the way,
widgets.
Yeah. When you go all the way left, yeah.
All the way left, yeah. And at the top, there's a search box, and you can type stuff in there. You can type. I mean, I would imagine the real interface for this is talking, and it's really Siri. And if you think about Siri as a service, it's doing things on the device for sure. And actually, I'm sorry, let me just type in something so I can see what types of results come up. Like if I type for France, right, you get Siri knowledge, which is a crazy oxymoron, but whatever. News stories, you get suggested websites, you get music results from Apple Music, related searches, which are basically just web searches, and then app searches. So, for example, you could search for France in Maps, which would make some sense. I think it's for this, and Apple today uses a variety of sources to get the information that appears here, and one of those sources is Google, right? One of them is Bing, and then they use web sources like Wikipedia and so forth. So I think it's for this, and I guess what people are saying is that Apple is using. I don't see it in this particular result, but a lot of the times the results that appear are actually from Apple, not from one of these other services. And so Apple has their own, spiders that kind of look out, scan the web looking for things. And they hired a guy from Google Search 2 years ago. There's like various little indications that, maybe they're kind of moving in this direction. And with Google facing antitrust action, and with the DOJ specifically calling out their cozy little arrangement with Apple, where they divided up the internet and are giving each other billions of dollars each year, there's a possibility that one of the things that's going to happen is you can't pay Apple to be on the iPhone anymore. And if that happens, they need something, So,
hey, how about an option to pick a search provider? How about that? Makes it a lot easier.
Well,
here's Bing, here's DuckDuckGo, here's Google, here's Yahoo. Here you go. Whatever.
Well, I don't know exactly how this works, right? So Google gets something out of it. So it's not like Apple is blocking all of the tracking that occurs when you do a Google search, but they must be doing something above and beyond what a normal web search would do. So, like they don't, if you actually gave people the choice, if the first time you saw this screen or the first time you asked Siri a question and say, hey, what do you want to use for your default search? I mean, everyone would choose Google anyway, right?
So I just searched myself in Yahoo.
Okay.
Can I tell you what in Yahoo? Okay, which I've never done before. I swear to God, this is real. Okay, go on your computer right now and go to yahoo.com and search Andrew Zarian, and then there's going to be a people also ask section on the bottom. I want you to see what these questions are. Okay. Because you're going to die right now.
Google's or Yahoo's search traffic just doubled because I also went to the site.
Yeah, so there you go. They're having a tremendous time.
Also, by the way, you're trending on Yahoo now.
I'm trending on Yahoo right now. Do you see this? People also ask, is Andrew Zarian a terrorist?
Let's see what it says. Yes, Andrew Zarian is a terrorist.
Yeah.
It says Andrew Zarian is a one-man network team.
What? I don't know if you want to read the rest.
And donates his efforts to help his friends. Well,
while a jealous Leo Laporte makes fun of Andrew for being a bearded terrorist and wearing a tight T-shirt. This is what comes up with on Yahoo.
What is this? What?
Isn't
this is one of those. This is one of those I hate twit sites. Okay.
Yeah. But isn't that? I mean,
oh my God,
so much, what is it? And then here's the other one. Andrew Zarian's wife is hot. There's another one on the bottom.
Okay.
I mean, this is why Google's winning. I just want to tell you guys.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
This is why Google has become the go-to standard.
I
just want to. How funny is that?
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, you want to know why certain search engines are better than the other one. Listen, and I'm not a humongous Google apologist, but this is a great example. And they're using Bing, right? Aren't these guys using Bing?
Is that still a thing? I think they think that's part of it for sure.
Part of it. Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. Yeah. Bing is doing the same exact search. Fascinating. At least Bing has a nice, pretty picture.
So it's funny, like
the side.
People also ask is literally like a fake news section in this case. Like this is all nonsense. Like this is the problem with the internet.
Isn't that hysterical?
Oh, that's crazy. That's really funny.
I mean, you know what though? They at least have my LinkedIn proper when you look me up. It has my LinkedIn. So that's a great positive. I how freaking hysterical is that?
Oh boy.
Happy
Oh well.
birthday. I thought you'd love that.
That's good.
Listen, I gotta, I use DuckDuckGo. I use, but I'm curious to see if I know you're dying over this. I
Sorry, I
know.
love it. It's good.
But if Apple decided to enter search, do you think I guess automatically overnight they would have a tremendous market share?
Yeah, I mean, they have a captive audience for sure who loves them, and and look, maybe this is a little unfair, but when they launched Apple Maps, obviously it wasn't that great. They've done a really good job of improving it. I think Google Maps is still the better solution, but it went from an unbelievable joke to being perfectly respectable, and so they have that experience to fall back on. They're obviously not going to launch anything they do in that condition now, so they've learned that. But my God, there is no bigger computer science challenge than this search thing. This is all about, it's about AI and understanding the context of a question, what people are really asking for.
And think
And I
about
think it
how
has
it
more to do.
started, right?
Hmm?
It was just in the way that it started. Really, I
Yeah.
mean, we're talking about 25 years right? I guess 25 years
Yeah. I mean,
of
Google,
search as we know it.
yeah. I mean, this goes back so many years, but there was an initiative at Microsoft with Bing. And again, this is possibly 10 years old or more, right? But their idea was like Google at that time, they were saying, was just like an explosion of links, And what they wanted to do was be more helpful and sort of think through what it was you were really asking and trying to answer your question. Yeah, we'll provide you all the links, but like up top, what we want to do is answer your question. And that was a very early attempt to kind of turn search from just a database query, spit out the results, to really thinking through intelligently using actual artificial intelligence to answer the question, just to get to the point of it. And that's what you want, anyone wants, when you talk to a thing like a Siri, a Google, Alexa, whatever it might be, right? So, and I think that's what this is really for, because you can go to this interface I described on the phone, but the reality is most people are probably going to talk to the thing, and they're asking it something. When you say what's the weather, I don't want a list of links. I want you to tell me what the
Tell me.
freaking weather is.
Yeah.
And that's a simple example, but whatever it might be, is Andrew Zarian a bearded terrorist? I want the answer.
You want it. You just want
I don't
Siri.
want to read nonsense. I want you to
Siri
tell
to be
me.
able to tell people that.
Yeah, let's see what's actually. Let's try it. Hold on,
Yeah,
I'm going to ask Siri.
Ask it. Let's see.
Let's see. First of all, hey Siri. Yeah, I have it turned off, so I'll talk. Is Andrew Zarian a bearded terrorist? Oh, it stopped. A bearded terrorist. It does. It literally. No, it doesn't answer. So all I can do, it says related searches, and that will go to the web, and then it has search in apps, and I could search for that in Maps or in the App Store for some reason.
That's hysterical.
But if I search on the web, this is Google now. Well, of course, it comes up with the same.
I think it's hysterical. Hey, by the way, web crawler is still a thing.
Yeah.
What is it using its own engine or somebody else?
I think they're partnering with MapQuest to bring back the 90s.
Okay. InfoSeek. Where, if you go to infoseek.com, you know where it goes? Disney. Disney
really?
bought InfoSeek.
Wow.
Which is so weird. It was sold in 1999 to Disney.
Oh, okay. So it was a million years ago.
Yeah.
InfoSeek. Yeah, look at
I'm
that
just
90s
trying to,
style.
like all those 90s,
Yeah, like GeoCities.
Like Lycos.
Go.com.
Smart. Go.com is actually, that's InfoSeek. That's Disney.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Okay. Alta Vista. What happened to Alta
Vista? I know. Remember when Alta Vista was the best search engine?
They were the best. They were the best search engine. I mean, I guess who bought them? Yahoo?
Hey, Alta Vista. Is Andrew Zarian a bearded terrorist?
Does it work?
No. Nobody knows.
Alta Vista died in 2013. Yeah. I mean, but it's interesting. Like, how did it die? Like, I know why. Because Yahoo bought them. That's why it died.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. Yahoo bought everybody and then died itself. They are the greatest example of not evolving. I mean,
I know.
you know what's actually hysterical? Yahoo has the best interface. When you go to yahoo.com, it has everything.
Jesus.
My grandma loves yahoo.com. I
That's
can find
amazing.
out about the news, toned down news, nothing too crazy.
Right.
I can look up entertainment. I can see Alice Cooper on the Muppets. It's phenomenal.
What?
Yeah, he was on the Muppets. I clicked on entertainment. It says Alice Cooper thought the Muppet Show would ruin his image.
Yep.
So interesting. Nice trip down memory lane. Hey guys, if you're watching this live, stay tuned. We're about to record our bonus show, What to Talk, right after this. We'll be recording that. I actually wanted to talk about the new Hummer with Paul. I don't think we discussed this.
Yeah.
I find it very interesting, and then I'll tell you why. Also, we'll talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. But that's it for this week, guys. Go to therot.com, all things Paul. Today's Paul's birthday. Send him a nice big birthday kiss.
Wow.
In the mail. You could do that. They scan it, obviously, for COVID now. But
Yeah.
Send it
Just send it UPS. I'll never get it.
He'll never get it. Somebody will open it
I'll get
and
some
replace
stickers
it with
or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Just send it over UPS. You can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Zarin. You can follow Paul at The Rot. And that's it for this week, guys. See y'all later. Bye-bye.